And then we had a nurse from Stickney that was there, and the little girl was stillborn. Because her head was buried in the muscle. I had a whole point on my stomach here.
Did you even realize it was twins at the time?
Not until just about 3 weeks before that. He said, "Have you got any twins in the family?" And that's as much attention as they paid, I guess.
Did they listen for heartbeats or anything with the stethoscope or anything?
Oh, I don't know. That was Holloman.
You didn't go for exams, or they didn't examine you much?
Maybe that's a walkway. It kind of looks like a path, right? And then they measure off of that, probably.
All things. And later, too, when I had 2 miscarriages, they never did anything about that either. And the one was so odd that he was wondering if it was a triple birth, because it was just like a heart, and it had 3 strings at the bottom for the cord, you know. It was odd.
Yeah, nowadays they would send it to a lab and they'd figure out what was the matter, and you know, but they didn't have the technology to do that. Yeah. I didn't know that you had 2 miscarriages too. The twins were born, where were they at in the lineup?
May 15.
And that was after Peter or Ellen?
No, before.
Before all the first ones.
Yeah. And then Peter was born in 36. And I said, if a doctor had been wise, he'd have told you right away, you better wait a little longer to have it. He said, oh, you're young enough, you can have plenty of them.
It's kind of hard emotionally when you
I would think.
have them at home and you traumatic.
And Grandma and
she said
mother.
like they put a hot water bottle by the little boy and stuff to try to keep him. He turned blue
that's
and
all
then they
they
tip him
had.
upside
They
down.
didn't have nothing.
Yeah, he would have been on a respirator because the lungs wouldn't be even developed yet, probably.
Well, that was
they call him a blue baby or something. That's when the lungs aren't.
Yeah,
because he was early.
Yeah, but nowadays they bring them through a lot quicker when they're 7 months than when they're 8.
Well, they can go.
They even take them from
24,
a pound or 2 pounds.
24 weeks.
I know.
It's just the different technologies.
Yeah.
But I didn't
now
realize,
the folks they're down.
I didn't realize that was your first baby. That would be about enough to make you want to quit, too, wouldn't it?
Well, it's hard on you, that's for sure.
Well, there's a De Boer.
But I think the other miscarriages, they're harder on you.
The name on the other side.
No, that's the other De Boer.
Your miscarriages, that's what I was wondering. When did you have those miscarriages then? Is that later?
One in between Alvin was Land, I guess, and the other one later yet. After.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. We went
Didn't
through
you
that.
go through that a little bit?
Yeah, we went through that too, and that's not.
But nowadays, things are a lot different.
Well, yeah, I think people didn't even really talk about it then, did they? It was just something that happened, and you just went on with it.
And the relation just took care of it. Here, there's a lot of, and there's a whole place here where they don't dare to dig because a prairie fire went through here, and that was all wooden signboards.
Yep.
Vanderbilt had one buried there too. They don't know at all where it was.
They burned the markers.
I drew the latest map for this cemetery.
Huh?
Yeah.
I drew the map.
Oh, did you?
An updated one?
Yeah, I drew the whole map for this cemetery.
How many years ago was that, though? That's been.
Yeah, that the previous copy was so worn out that they needed an updated drawing, so I redrew the whole cemetery.
And I think from some of the 80s, they didn't even get that correct on places at all either.
And I did have a spot on the map that we put dotted lines around, and that's an area that's questionable. They don't have a clue
Yeah.
how they're laid out in there.
So you don't know about the twins buried in the corner back there?
No,
That wasn't
I don't
shown
think
on
it was
there?
ever marked.
I don't think it got marked at all. Record keeping wasn't real good at that time. Record keeping, they didn't do it real good at that time.
What? Hank and Lane and Sean, how were they related? All of your.
Aunt Sean was my sister, the oldest one.
So that would be this.
Cena was Grandma's sister.
And that's Freddie. He was buried here. He died in Redfield. He was in the home there. Freddie of John Oliver. Of Leonard. That was John's youngest brother. Now where's the Pope? There's John Moore.
This one is moved, isn't it? It is. This one is still moved off his face.
Look at that.
With that wind, some of them tipped too.
Yeah, I wondered if this was from that. Yeah, but they would have surely taken care of that by now.
This whole thing is tilted too.
It's slant.
Oh, that was from that storm, huh?
The ground is sinking.
Uncle Balks was done something with too, and they never did anything to that either, I guess.
There wasn't
Where
any.
is that?
That's over
Little
that part there.
Oh,
Because Mom and I walked by that not too long ago.
Oh, I see.
They maybe did finally lift it up. I guess there weren't any relatives, close relatives, that live around here that took care of it.
Now, is Vernon got lots here? That's a De Boer there.
Was that?
That's Fred and Alda's.
Here's one where they had to change the number, didn't they?
Yeah, who died and then they carved Grandma's death date in there and it wasn't right. I can't even remember who they got it mixed up with.
Frank's baby. Vernon bought lots here, but where in the world can it be in between here yet? No, I don't think so. They could have had something back of it yet, in between there, huh? There could be one in between there, yeah.
Well, Mom and Dad have lots here too, but where are they, Merlin? Do you
Yeah,
know? It's by a tree.
They've moved over to the other side of the cemetery,
Who was that?
Mom and Dad?
didn't they?
I don't know.
Or
My
did they
folks
stay
have,
on this
have
side?
lot too, but I'm not sure where they're at. I thought they were by a tree someplace, and I don't know if it's this
Do
one.
you have a stone on it already too, or just a lot of trees are gone?
I just
after
got
the
it a
wind
couple of years ago, or,
After the wind?
I think it was. But I don't know. I'll have to ask her.
Who was that?
DeWard,
Oh, yeah.
Mavis and John.
Yeah, Marie and John.
No, Mavis. Mavis. Mavis Hotcoper.
There, too, that's
John. Yeah.
Oh, John. Yeah, maybe.
7 years ago.
yeah, that's hard to do.
I was thinking more like 4.
Yeah.
Oh, the one the Pope
Yeah,
got
the
about flowers
7
like
years
we
already.
got
I
on
said
the
I
one of
was
ours.
thinking more like 4. They have the names of the kids on there. So. Parents of Jeanette.
Yeah, but they didn't do that yet when you got for your dad, did they?
Oh, there are some really old ones here that have that too.
Well, Uncle
It's
Chris
got more
Lafer's
popular
name is here
Yeah.
too.
You know, things go
Because
around.
he was married to a Smith first, and that stone is right by old Lafer's quarters out there. And he never got buried here. He was buried with his second woman in Michigan, in Grand Rapids up there, Jane DeYoung.
So that's all out in that corner then? The Lafers? Are the Lafers out in
Yeah.
that?
Grandpa Fred Lafers and Uncle Harm and Aunt Hilda, they took over, that was one for 8. And they picked one there. So there's others there too. But I don't know, they ain't got no stones up there yet, I don't think.
Yeah, they're in Corkston. But,
And I believe that Uncle John Lafers had a baby that was just buried in a corner here somewhere where there was an empty spot once. That's been years ago too.
And does that one have a marker, or is that one just?
I don't know whether it's got a marker or not. Wouldn't dare to say.
There's one lonesome stone over there. Is that all maybe sold, but you don't know? There aren't.
I think that's the area in there somewhere where they won't dig any graves, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right back of that.
Grandma's folks are buried here?
Huh?
Grandma's folks are buried here?
Oh yeah.
And what about Grandpa's
Oh, you
folks?
mean Grandma Boss?
No, Grandma De Boer.
De Boer.
The Lafers.
Yeah. They got a higher stone. Now let's see, where is that?
You want to walk back there? I don't know how much your mom wants to walk, but
Faber and Denning.
After sitting yesterday all day.
General Buchman, yeah. That was Lena Fredley.
Yeah, Fred is there.
Oh. Frederick Weinen, Vena? Is that a Y or a V?
It looks like a V. Right.
What's that in front here?
this is, hold on.
Oh yeah, Uncle Harm got his fingers in the pie and never told the others. They took this place then.
You mean it for the lot or whatever? The grave?
Yeah, this was an 8 piece here. 4 there and 4 here. So somebody else could have that too yet, I guess.
Fred and Harm were brothers then, right? Grandma's brothers? Harm and Fred? No, Fred was the grandpa. Fred was the dad.
Huh?
Harm was
Harm
born in
was his
1894.
Yeah, but there were 2 Harms. There was Uncle Harm and there was Harm Lafers of Sue's Dick Fist. That was the brother of Fred Lafers.
But the Fred Lafers that's Grandpa's brother? Or Grandma's brother, I mean. Grandma's brother, Fred? Grandma De Boer? Was Fred her brother?
Uncle, maybe. See,
No,
he was born
Fred Lafers was Ma's father.
Yeah.
Dad.
That's
Okay,
this
so that
Fred
would be
Lafers.
great grandpa.
Dad.
So
Yeah.
what's your grandpa? Fred Lafers was your grandpa?
Harm was her brother then.
Yeah.
So that's direct line there.
And Harm is a brother to Chris and John, and yeah, there were 4 boys.
So, were they both wives then? Oh yeah.
No.
Well, he lost his first wife and then he remarried.
Lena and
That's what they
Lina.
Yeah, we
Lena
talked
Lafers.
about that.
I didn't know her name was Lina, but they called her
That would be the Dutch.
Well, one isn't too English either, though.
No, but it probably is toned down a little bit from
Yeah,
from
she
the real.
died in the spring, I remember that. 22.
He still outlived both of them, didn't he? He still lived longer than both of his wives.
Yeah, he did. He was with Uncle Harms in the house for years. With Aunt Hilda and Uncle Harms. That's why
That looks like, was he planning on another one
because Earl is the one that reached the most
Must be an
money.
empty one.
Yeah, there is an empty.
Later.
He was probably planning on one more, but the first 2 killed him.
He said, oh, here's a check to get the Lake's name.
They're probably, they probably 8 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Just to see if she had gotten something too, you know.
And wasn't all good between those brothers and sisters, was it?
Not to a certain extent, yeah, but the boys, they didn't treat Aunt Min very good. She was supposed to be in that quarter too, you know. They were going to take care of her, and what happened is Dad took care of them and gave them money all the time, and how many times I didn't see Ma go to the bedroom with Aunt Min when they come to visit, she'd hand her a $10 or $20 bill again for groceries and things. And Uncle Jake, he didn't care about working. He says, oh, those other people gotta live too. He didn't care a whit about money.
It's kind of a different little stone over there. There's a sheep, a little lamb on top with a tree or something.
On the west side of the road.
It's hard to read. It's an older one.
Then
be a
the
child.
folks helped them
Must
marry
be.
up. But then they got along pretty good by themselves because there's where Adriana and Amy got married to.
What about Grandpa's folks? Are they buried here? Yeah, you said you saw it over there.
There is some De Boer stones over there.
Yeah, that could be.
It's way down here.
Because that was about.
And then, you know, everybody'd be laughing, and then I'd have to wait for somebody to interpret. Keep your camera away.
So this, huh?
Maybe Nellie got buried someplace else.
When?
Maybe Nellie's grave is someplace else.
She remarried. What was her? She was married to somebody else first. Up in Weldon, wasn't
This
it?
is John Grump's funeral here. And then Gert Young, that was Josie. She's still in the home. But she's so deaf she can't hear and she can't hardly see anymore.
Yeah, but those are babies there.
Yeah, that
38
could be
to 39.
2 days.
They named them both the same, Leroy M and Leroy E.
Well, what's the one back of there then?
That don't make much difference.
They like the name.
Definitely.
This is Dora John. 1963.
Fortrees. I've heard you talk about Jake Fortree. I don't know who it is.
Oh, that's how that's spelled. I would have spelled it 4 and then.
But you know what? This stone is blank. There ain't nothing, no name on it.
It's on this side.
Wore pretty bad.
Yeah, it's just about wore off.
Yeah, it is.
Feel it?
I didn't notice that.
Westrup.
It's in there. Huh?
Peter Westrup.
Yeah.
This is hard for
The Western moved away from here, and there's the Western were in town too later in town.
97.
Oh, I just wonder. Simon, next one, to our grandpa.
So that would have been
They lived right by Stickney on the north side of the road.
No, it
Everett's
would
De
be your
Boer.
grandma's uncle then, or aunt,
No,
right? Grandpa.
Was that De
It's
Boer
the other
related?
side.
Okay, grandpa.
he was married to Jane, somebody from up by, she come from Michigan, I think, somewhere.
So those De Boers are relation, Everett
She'd
and so?
stand in the house, oh, for pity's sake, everything she was talking about, oh, for pity's sake.
Left an impression.
We had coffee there.
The 4 brothers, it was, Grandpa was James, and then there was a John. And is this a brother then too? Jacob?
No. What?
Jake and Harmina.
All the brothers of Grandpa. There was a Will,
Bill, Uncle Will.
Uncle Will, and Uncle Bo.
Yeah, but that
This
wasn't
is a different. This is a different one then.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was Elsie's boy.
And Elsie. Okay, and Elsie. Explain that to me again. Elsie is.
Was a brother to Nellie De Boer. to our grandpa, De Boer.
Your
That's
grandpa.
a great,
There were
different generation.
two boys, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Roy and Lena, they were lightning too.
He must have had two Leroys then too, because
Roy and Lena.
Now, where is Lena buried then?
Yeah, it just says a month and a year, so it probably was a baby.
Wow, where's Lena's stone?
Died at birth.
Didn't die.
That probably was here too.
Well, if that Uncle Jay and Aunt
Was a brother to Dolly. And then there's a couple over there, I think that's... What does it say?
That's another brother?
That would be a brother to Grandpa.
yeah. Oh, Uncle Buck was.
He lived by Marley Moss on that corner where that old place is.
Buck and Nellie. I remember.
She lived till 65.
Yeah, but they got their mail mixed up a lot, didn't they? Grandma
that
and
could
her,
be.
because
That
it's
could
both
be.
Nellie.
But I don't remember her at all. Where was she until 1960?
Maybe she didn't. Well, okay, they just had sale of that house on the corner in. No, that was a different one. That was Donald's family.
Yeah.
I can't remember what her name was.
Well, Donald was.
Donald was of Will.
Okay.
but he was born a little later than Peter, I think.
This is unusual to have a brother.
Yeah.
B. De Boer lived until she died.
A Buck.
Aunt Nellie?
Yeah.
She was here in South Dakota.
Yeah,
but
where?
where? I don't remember her around.
She was in the home a long time. When she was 95, she broke her hip.
But from 72 to 65, so she would have been 65,
93.
28, 75, 85, 93 years
Yeah,
old.
she was in the 90s.
But where did she live in the 50s and 60s? Were they on a farm here?
She's in 60s.
Before she went to the home, was she in Corsica then, or?
See, the home has been there, originated already over 30 years ago, too, isn't it?
Where did they live? You know.
Well, they lived right a mile west of Folks. They had that big olive farm. The whole driveway was all olive trees
Fresh
going
and
slant. And then Vernon and Martha, they always went fishing, play fishing, and they'd sit up in them trees and everything and go. They had a lot of fun there.
Did Uncle Barca live on the farm
don't
until he
know that
died
now.
then, or where did he
I
go?
don't remember at all.
Glenn, do you know, or is that what you're
Let's
asking?
see.
Did you
Grandpa
know
De
Nellie?
Boer stayed with them, yeah. There's where Grandpa De
We
Boer.
might have to ask some more questions this noon.
And they hated the most.
I mean, I'm not familiar with another Nell,
Supposed to stay by them.
except that one picture in that book, it had Aunt Nell on the back, and I thought it was Grandma when I put it in there.
Oh,
Each your
Must be
turn,
this
you know.
Nell then.
could be.
And he
bet.
just hated to
Yeah,
go there. Yeah, but Canada stay here. And then so happened that he died there suddenly while he was there during the night. Yeah. But he'd always have to have boiled eggs for breakfast and everything. He'd peel the whole egg and stick the whole egg in his mouth. And that's the
Could he
way
cut
he'd
it
grind
that
it
way?
down.
Isn't it funny the things you remember?
What stage?
Well, that was something for us kids to watch, you
What do
know.
we remember about you?
Yeah,
We're in trouble.
Something you said, or
I said, I got a time to get rid of a
Penny
half,
Oh, yeah.
and I got a pretty big mouth.
Well, this is a family that had a tough time too.
Yeah, that's
Do you
Tulsa.
know the Tulsamans?
Yeah.
They got three of them. You know, this one lived a couple years, and that one a month, and this one.
What is that, Saltman?
One of them died of SID, and one of
Be by the folks, but he had to go, so And he was a real gentle man. He wouldn't fight, you know. He was real calm about everything. That's why it kind of hurt a little bit when he went to Uncle Bob's. He didn't want to be there, and then he had to die there during the night. Oh.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Now, Clarence's folks' stone, is that in the next, on that side here of the gate, or is here? It was on this side, wasn't it? Peter Bob, and they got the names on the back side, so you wouldn't see it from the road.
Oh. Okay.
And that was awfully faded. It was a poor kind of, no, it wasn't close to the road.
Yeah.
It's farther away.
Is it over here?
That's later.
What does Zalik mean?
Alexander.
Zalik's, can you read this?
Die Dunen, die and
Be here. Sterven van Nieuwen. Yeah.
Well, this is the name. Sterven de Heer on the new.
Ja, yeah. The geese of that.
Rusuna.
It's a list of names. You don't know what that first line says?
No,
probably the kids or something, huh?
Died in a Doden, and then died in a certain time.
No, he's not died.
Working?
Working.
In German is working
Yeah, that's work.
Vogen.
In
Boy, that thing is getting,
Vogen. That sounds like a sentence, but
that was Lecoq's business, wasn't it?
yeah. What do they call those? A sepulcher?
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
The Lecoq's were,
Or mosque, or no, that's not right.
nothing pretty about it.
1907.
No.
Overlijden, that means he died
Yeah.
in 26-7. Harrison and Maria.
In German, it would be like carried over, overladen. Carried
Yeah, right.
They
across
were
the Jordan.
old people too. 85, 90, 85.
Yeah, it's kind of comforting on all these De Boers. They're 80s, 90s. I don't know if that's comforting or not. Gotta go another 20, 30 years yet.
People did funny things then too, right? Boy, that leaf stone there too is sure chipped there. Relation from the other side.
There's a transition. Brinks, Lafer, Slafer.
84, 86.
And they got there. It's Lafer Spring.
Yeah.
Alphabetically, it would even
It sounds
be
like
the other
he
way.
married into the family. Spring.
Or is it Lady Francis? Could be
Yeah, but it's
Harm
harm.
Lakers. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
that
lady
was
right
the
there.
Harm Lakers. That
those
was
were
His father and mother.
Right.
brother
And these
to-
are the children, and she brought her husband along.
Lafer
She married him. Yeah.
Yeah, back then they'd name them after some great granddaddy, and then every generation would have the same, you know,
One of them.
or every family.
So it gets confusing. You don't
Yeah,
know which.
to keep
And a lot
that
of times they
straight.
didn't have middle names either.
You didn't name any of your boys Orville?
Larry wouldn't let me. We were gonna name him Bird Orville or Orville Bert, but he wouldn't let me. It'd be kind of a mean thing to do to a child.
Well, as the generations go, it loses that. Like now, Nellie is an old person name, but that if you name a child Nellie, well, then Nellie becomes a young person's name to their peers.
Yeah,
so then
yeah.
it becomes a popular name again.
That's true. Like Amber, when we named Amber, somebody said, "Oh, my grandma's name is Amber," you know, and she was
Goes around.
how many years old?
Here's another one with a bell off.
Oh,
Well, if they would have known that, they wouldn't have bought them, would they?
Probably made them without that. We put a thicker neck on it.
right.
China Savannah, no, that was the one that lived there where Vermont was. China's.
This one they tried to reinforce it with a pin.
That was probably inside the valve.
Yeah, was that when it was poured? Was it poured inside there?
And then probably the top.
Oh,
This
that's
isn't
it.
poured, this is rock.
Oh, that's right. So did they?
This was the base of that little spindle.
Looks like this one's been tipped over too. This is off center and this one's off.
It blew hard here.
Boy, it
great
must
big one.
have.
Which one? The De Boer one over there
Yeah,
tipped over?
That's the
That one
that's
tipped
laying
over.
on its back.
Oh,
Laid down
man.
for a
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, because they wanted to contact relatives. I didn't even know I was a
They
relative.
did. They did. They sent them a letter, and I wrote them too, but
Yeah, who would have been the closest?
they didn't.
Yeah,
They didn't think they wanted to do anything
who
to
would
it.
have been a closer relative?
Jeanette and Esther.
What, their
Oh,
children?
Esther De
Yeah,
Boer.
they live in California.
Okay, so
They're
that would
in
be closer
Washington.
relative. Because, see, if the
they were
cemetery
close
just takes the
enough to
tractor and starts to lift it and cracks in half,
Uh-oh.
private property.
They don't have the